And then finally, keywords and phrases. Pay attention to words people say. So if I walk by and I say, hey, how you doing today?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. I'm doing wonderful too. I will use the same word that she uses, and then we have that connection, right? So if I went up to you and I said, how you doing today? And wonderful. And I'm like, really? My day sucks. You know, that's, and you hear her, she's like, ah, right? We can't leave like that. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, yeah, okay. So use the same words. What if they say, my day's lousy? And I'll say, yeah, I've had lousy days too. But they always get better. Meet them where they're at, then take them where you want them to go. But you got to meet them where you're at. If you try to just take them, they ain't coming. Okay? I was working with a guy one time with a contract, and we were getting to the end, and he says, we'll just, this isn't a priority, so we'll skip over this and come back to it. And I said, yeah, that's not that big a deal. It's not really important. And he goes, whoa. He says, everything in here is important. I just said it wasn't a bigger priority. And I said, you know what, you're right, I'm sorry. Everything is important, and let's go ahead with the plan you have. I like it. He's like, okay then. Right? Human beings assume a lot. We tend to assume we're on the same page when usually we are not. And so it's much better to, when you want to create that rapport, connect with people, use the words that they're using, and you'll find that it creates magic in the relationship. I mentioned before, the words you use influence how you feel, and they influence how other people feel as well. So if we're in a situation, a transaction, and I say, thank you so much, and you say, no problem, what's the word I just heard? What if you're trying to be cool and you're like, hey, no worries? What's the word I just heard? Worries. Do you want the last thing that I associate with you to be problems or worries? No. Instead, you might say, my pleasure. You're welcome. Happy to serve. Now they're hearing serve, pleasure, and it makes them feel more connected with you. Pay attention to those words. It's not my problem. Oh, well, that's going to trigger people right off the bat, right? Instead of saying, how can we solve this together? What about don't you worry? Whenever you say the word don't, your mind responds on anything that comes after it, right? Any of you that have kids in here and you say, don't throw that toy, what do? They throw the toy because their brain didn't hear don't. It heard what came after it. I used to see billboards that would say, don't drink and drive, and I'd be like, okay. They changed that slogan to stay sober. And then my mind went, okay, I get it. I get that now. So instead of saying, don't worry, I used to do programs for Homeland Security, and I used to teach verbal first aid programs in crisis situations or with first responders. And I would work with these ambulance drivers, and what they would do is they would get to a scene, and they would say, just don't die on me. Yeah, let that one sink in, right?